everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm joined with Justin again, and we're going to be doing pros and cons of living in Singapore. Obviously there are good things and bad things about living in Singapore. We don't want anyone to take offence to this, it's just our own opinion. So I hope this video is insightful, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. Let's start with pros, because I want to be positive. Okay, so the first pro we have is safety.
Very safe.
Singapore is one of the safest countries that you can live in. What's your experience with safety?
I mean, I've never had that feeling where you think, should we go down that road, or it's getting late, should maybe not go to the shop at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Never get that.
For sure.
It's just so safe.
I think from a female point of view, it's so nice for me to like finish work late and be able to walk home by myself. Like, I don't have to be like, Justin, can you come meet me? Like, there's never a point where I feel uneasy or unsafe. And I have to walk down like a dark road, like it's barely lit, and I never feel unsafe or anything. So that is amazing from like a female's point of view, to always feel safe. Also, like, catcalling like just doesn't exist in Singapore for women.
Okay. I'm sure it does exist, but it's not as common.
Okay, I've had it one time. In the UK, I would get catcalled maybe every day. Like, it's just the norm.
For those that don't know, what's a catcall?
A catcall is like when a guy is like shouting after you, or he's like, oh, can I get your number? Or, hi, sexy? Or, I don't know, something cringe. Like, it happens to women all over the world. Like, I've just never experienced it here, which is great, and it makes me feel really safe. I think that comes in with safety. It makes me feel at ease.
Yep.
And I guess guys maybe are just a bit more respectful here. Like,
but it's a similar thing. Okay, so it's just feeling comfortable as well. Say it's late at night and you're in the UK and you have to get off the train at, I don't know, 11 p.m, 12 a.m. You're guaranteed to get a group of young kids, and they're going to harass. They're going to be shouting out.
Yeah, there's no harassment here.
No harassment.
No.
Well, not that I've
not that we've experienced. Yeah.
But
sure.
UK, and I'm sure other places in the world.
Yeah. Safety is like a big one for us. Yeah. Next one is cleanliness. Singapore is known to be one of the cleanest countries, and it really is. Obviously, you still get parts where there's like rubbish on the floor or whatever. I've seen that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, there's no littering. No one litters really. There's no chewing gum on the floor because chewing gum is banned. The MRTs are absolutely spotless, which I think for everyone, like all our friends and family that have come down, like that's been the main thing for them. They've been like, oh my god, like the trains are so clean, the MRT is so clean.
The MRT is, there's going to be so much black soot and dust, but you you don't see it.
Yeah, compared to like the underground in London, which is absolutely filthy.
It's grubby,
The one here is super, super clean. So next is how easy it is to travel from Singapore.
So Singapore is one of the main airports, one of the main hubs in Southeast Asia, same as Kuala Lumpur. So if you live in either of these places, to get to say Thailand, Malaysia, Laos, Vietnam, Indonesia, it's a direct flight. It's not too complicated to get there.
And my favourite is Bali. It's only 2 hours. 2 hours from Singapore.
So you can just get direct flights. It's so easy, and so it's in comparison to say if you were to go from London to Europe, it's quite pricey for the distance you travel. Whereas here, it's not too bad. So
if you live in Singapore already, or if you're moving to Singapore, you can definitely expect to be travelling a lot within Asia. Next is the variety of food.
Yeah.
Maybe one of Justin's favourites.
So because there's many cultures here, so you got
every kind of food you can imagine.
Chinese, Indian, Malaysian, Indonesian, Filipino, Western, Mexican, anything you can think of.
Yeah.
There's such a variety. So whatever you want to eat, you can find it, and it's going to be
lovely.
It's going to be very good.
Yes. Next is weather. We've put weather as a pro because I love the heat personally. I love the sunshine. I love to sunbathe. Although a lot of Singaporeans absolutely hate the weather here and would rather live in a cold climate, we really appreciate the hot weather. It's
more the hours of daylight you get per day as well.
True.
Which helps. Say if you was to compare, yes, okay, the snow in the winter is quite nice, but when it doesn't get light until say 9 a.m. and gets dark at 3:30, 4 p.m.
Yeah, you wake up in the dark.
You wake up in the dark.
You go to work, and you come home in the dark.
In the dark.
And that's not nice.
No sunlight. No daylight. Not even sun. Just daylight.
And it's really depressing as well. What I love about the weather here is that I find it really like lifts my mood. My mood was very dependent on the weather in the UK. I think it's called SAD, S-A-D. Seasonal affective disorder. Basically, when it was dark all the time, it really made me depressed, which is why I'm not a big fan of winter. So I love the weather here. It really brightens my mood. Everyone's outside and doing things, and they're not like shut up in their house because it's too cold.
Yeah.
So I love that. Next one is public holidays.
So many.
We get a lot of public holidays in Singapore. How many do we get on average?
I don't know, 10?
Maybe 10 per year. The public holidays is the same as what we call a bank holiday in the UK.
Public holidays, they cater for all the different nationalities. So it's not just the Christians or the Muslim holidays. So it caters for all nationalities. So the Indians with their beliefs, the Christians with their beliefs for Christmas Day, the Chinese with their beliefs for, say, Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So throughout the whole year, you can probably get maybe one a month.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but...
Which really comes in handy if you're planning trips.
Yeah.
You can extend your weekend away, or there's a lot that fall midweek as well. So it always comes in handy if you're trying to plan your holidays. Next, I've put the variety of restaurants and cafes. There is such a great amount of restaurants and cafes in Singapore. Like just recently, in the past couple of months, we've been going to a lot more cafes than we usually go to, mainly because I started drinking coffee. I don't drink coffee anymore, that's a long story, but I basically was a coffee drinker for a month. But I also drink tea, so like, yeah, we've just been enjoying like checking out the different cafes around like our area.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. Like everywhere's so like trendy, and I don't know, I just love it, so that's something that we enjoy doing. Next is how much greenery there is in Singapore. Not only is it a city, but there's just so much greenery everywhere, which I really love.
Yeah.
As you'll be able to tell from my Instagram theme.
In Singapore, the main city, there's still trees on the pavements.
Yeah.
There's still greenery everywhere.
There's trees everywhere. But not only that, there's like gardens everywhere, like botanic gardens, that kind of things. And there's lots of trail walks as well that you can do. The next one is the fact that you get to experience different cultures here.
It's nice to see. I mean, you really do get an appreciation as into the different cultures. It's not just you see one, you should like, I don't know, you see the Chinese culture once a year on Chinese New Year, you see it all year round.
Yeah.
As well with the Indians, as well with the Malay, you see such a range.
Yeah.
So you get to understand and educate yourself.
For sure. Next is low tax.
Low tax in comparison to UK.
Yes.
So if you used to live in Switzerland, you might say, what, you pay tax?
Yeah. So how much is the tax here?
Tax here, it goes in levels, it goes in stages. So UK, anything over $20,000 you pay 20%. Then anything over $80,000, $90,000 you pay 40%. Whereas Singapore, it's a smarter way of doing tax, so it goes up in thresholds. So you pay 3% on anything over $10,000, then 5%, 7%. It's just a better way of doing it.
Convenient public transport and well-priced public transport.
Well-priced.
Is a big deal here.
Reasonably priced.
Yeah. Again, this is in comparison to the UK, so we're just comparing it to what we're used to, but buses, trains, taxis are a lot cheaper than we'd usually pay back home. So that's definitely a big pro for us. Not only that, because Singapore is so small, you can get to anywhere super easily within a short amount of time, like maybe within an hour.
Easy.
If you get from one side of Singapore to the other, like it's not going to take long. And trains are always every like 2-3 minutes, and it's not hard to get a taxi with like your Grab app or your Uber app. So yeah. Next is internet speed.
It's the best.
Internet speed is super fast here.
So quick.
And why is it?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I mean, it comes in handy if you want to upload YouTube videos, for sure.
Any Australian that's watching will say, because the internet in Australia is awful.
Yeah.
In the UK, we thought it was okay, but then you come here and it's like, zip, it's so fast.
It's definitely a pro. Last pro we have is just like the architecture. Love all the colonial buildings. I've mentioned this before, but I love the look of them. Like, I really, really appreciate them. Another thing I really appreciate is like all the white buildings, and there's so many like gorgeous white buildings and grey buildings. I know that sounds really weird, but
white, grey and green is the backdrop of Singapore.
Aesthetic wise, grey, white and green. I just love like the colour scheme. I think it's so cool. It's like so clean, so minimal. It's great if you want to get like Instagram photos and stuff. Yeah. So I really like that. Okay, that's quite a lot of pros actually.
Yeah, it's a good place to live.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's get on to the cons, the not so great things about living in Singapore. We have work hours with no overtime.
It's more, that work-life balance.
Yeah.
Say in the UK you might work on average 37 to 38 hours per week. Singapore, 44 hours would be maybe standard.
Yeah.
But everyone works more than that. So the amount of work you do in comparison to, say, from our own experience compared to the UK, so much more.
Work-life balance is definitely balance. Work-life balance. Work-life balance is definitely lacking here. I feel like if you lived somewhere like UK or Australia, I think there's more like emphasis on living your life and work comes second. But here in Singapore, I feel like
work first.
Work always comes first, and then it's life. That's the not so good element of it. Relating to work is the annual leave for a Singaporean company is 14 days, which is not a lot.
It's not a lot,
but it's not a lot.
You get 14 days MC.
Okay, yeah, we had to talk about MC.
Any Singaporean would know that. Yeah, you get 14 days leave, but you also get 14 days MC, and pretty much everyone uses them as days leave. So there's no way you're going to be ill 14 days in a year. That's not common.
Do you want to explain what MC is?
MC is like a medical check. So say you wake up, you have a really sore throat, you could go to the doctor, you could sort of text in work, say, not going to come in today,
I'm on
MC, then you have to go to a doctor's, get a certificate. He will give you some companies ask for the certificate from the doctor, some don't. And then as long as you prove that you're ill,
it's basically like a doctor's note to say that you can have like today off.
14 days in a year.
So you're allowed 14 of those plus your annual leave.
That's a lot.
So people can take advantage of it. Obviously you shouldn't. But yeah, in comparison to the UK, I think the minimum leave is like 21, 25 days?
Take MC, it's unpaid.
Obviously, yeah. So
they deduct it from your salary.
Yeah, so in the UK we don't have MC. You would just, if you're sick, then you don't get paid for going in. So that's one actual pro of living in Singapore is the MC, you will get paid for being sick. But you don't get as many official leave days.
Leave days, yeah. Only 14 standard.
And what's the norm in the UK?
What, 21?
21 to 25. So I guess it balances it out, but you shouldn't really take advantage of your MC. Weather can be great, but if you want to do like activities and things, it can be a real burden.
So say I play football say weekend games, and it's a 1 PM kickoff.
I don't know how he does
kickoff.
it.
It's difficult. It's not nice.
In 33-degree heat, a football game. I don't know how he does it. Honestly, he comes back absolutely dripping.
Yeah.
And like sunburnt.
So as good as it is, the weather is definitely a pro with more hours daylight, but then it's a con because it's just relentless heat.
Sometimes too hot to do anything. Like you couldn't go for a run. We can, but you have to go in the evening. So little things like that.
More.
Yeah. Shopping for groceries is expensive compared to the UK. I keep saying
so it's more. So yeah, it's going to be this thing. Compared to the UK, but say we want to cook. Say we're sort of coming from a Western country. Where
you always make your own meals
accustomed
at home.
We make your meals at home, but they're Western meals. So you might it's like meat, vegetables, potatoes. Whereas the Asian diet is a bit different. But if we wanted to cook, say, I don't know, comfort food from what we used to back home, to buy that in the supermarkets it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. UK, very cheap.
Fruit and vegetables is really expensive. Like, I always joke about, I love strawberries so much, but they cost $15 here.
Well, you can.
I'm
sure you could get them cheaper
sure
in cold storage, but
in cold
still,
storage,
it's not cheap.
They're $15.
Even if you was to go to, I don't know, the hawker centre, sometimes they have markets there.
Yeah.
It's still expensive.
Yeah.
Still expensive.
Another con is that Singapore can sometimes feel like it's so small. Like, it is so small. It's a tiny island, but sometimes you just feel like, oh, I wish I could just go on a road trip to like
do
a
like
couple of hours away.
A weekend getaway to the country.
Like a weekend getaway.
It's not possible.
Within the country is not something that you can do. You have to fly somewhere else or get a boat or whatever. You could go to Bintan, Batam, but I'm not too keen on those places. Yeah. It can definitely make you feel a bit claustrophobic sometimes. Like you can't just hop in a car and go
Escape.
somewhere. Yeah, which is something we used to do a lot back home.
Yeah.
We always used to go on like little weekend getaways, but that's something we kind of miss about living here. Next is the cost of apartments. And yeah, it's expensive to have an apartment here.
So if you want to buy, the property price is just insane.
For a condo, will it be at least $1 million?
Oh yeah,
Which is
of course.
insane.
It's crazy.
So yeah.
Even HDBs, they cost you upwards from $500,000.
Right.
That's crazy.
It is. So to buy, crazy expensive.
To rent, because they are so much to buy, the landlord has to make his money back. So the rent is then high.
Yeah. So if you wanted to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, we'd be paying at least $1,900
For a condo.
for a condo, which is how much in pounds? £900?
$950.
Yeah. So it is expensive to live here, for sure. For Singaporean citizens, no free healthcare, there's no NHS, nothing like that. You can claim a lot of your medical bills from your work insurance if they cover it.
If it's covered, yeah.
If it's covered.
But they only it depends on how good your insurance is.
And it depends how much they'll...
Say you break your arm in January, yes, it might be covered the first time, then you break it again in December, they're saying, no, you've had one already.
Yeah.
So we won't cover that, and
you have to pay for it yourself. So just make sure you're careful here. Try not to get in any accidents, because it will cost a lot of money.
For healthcare as well, say even if you want to have a child, you have to pay for it.
Yeah,
so I think
you have to pay
5,000, 6,000
to give birth.
To give birth.
Which is crazy.
Don't quote me on the price, but...
And you can think of all the things that add up.
Yeah.
Especially if you need to have like a C-section or like an epidural or... I can't imagine how expensive it is.
You don't get any... There's no sort of social state welfare.
There's no benefits.
There's no benefits, no welfare.
Yeah, so literally if you don't work, you don't earn any money.
You don't eat, you don't have somewhere to sleep.
Yeah, which is scary prospect actually.
Scary.
Yeah. And the last one we have is event organisation. There's been a few events that we've been to or that we've heard of.
I don't know if it's because it's a new thing that's just up and coming, so it's learning every year. But every event is just so
badly organised. Yeah.
Just the access, the exiting, the things like the drink stand, they run out of everything too early.
Yeah.
Queuing for everything for too long.
Yeah, there's been a lot of concerts and just like general events that have been really hyped up, and then everyone just says how bad the organisation was and that it just ruined it. So I think that's something definitely Singapore needs to improve on. Okay guys, they are our pros and cons of living in Singapore. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to leave your pros and cons of living in Singapore in the comments below, because we'd be really interested to read them. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and we will see you next time. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Listen, seeing you got ritualistic, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, 'cause I'm falling apart.